Couldn't be bothered to style this wig, and so this is literally how it came out the bag. You can probably tell because it's really far back, but also I feel like it's not noticeable because I've got a beanie on. It's really noticeable when I take the beanie off. Anyway, that is not to do with this video. This video is about this doll. So Chucky is a horror icon. A lot of people who know horror and enjoy horror know who Chucky is. He is possibly one of the world's most notorious horror dolls. He is in slasher horror. He has a multitude of franchises about him. He also has a series about him. Sadly, the series got cancelled. But he has a series, he has movies, all of that good stuff. This week, I decided to make the outfit, dungarees and shirt that Chucky wears in the horror movie Child's Play. Subscribe. Like the video. That is all I have to say. Let's get on with making, shall we? I have sewing scissors somewhere. And I have no idea where they've gone. I laid down the fabric. I then cut essentially a rectangular piece from the fabric that was the length of my torso and legs. I then proceeded to cut about halfway up, possibly a little over halfway, for my legs. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, and this is looking shocking. I then got two big panels, and I don't know how big my legs are. Well, they're about yay big, but I don't know how big they are. Where it will go in at my waist. So my waist is here. So I've pinned here, and here. So, ow! I know where everything is. I can cut the top off, but this is where I want it in the length, and where it will be in the length. So I'm going to get the two panel pieces, the bigger panel pieces that were scrapped, and I'm going to pin them onto either leg with then the weird L part at the top, so that that bit would cover my bum. That doesn't make sense, but it does, I promise. Once I had figured out what I was actually doing and how to do it, I got the main bulk of the dungarees and I laid them down. I then got the two L scrap pieces shaped things and I pinned them all the way along one side that wasn't where the L shape was, so the two pieces together on both sides of the legs. I then pinned them all the way up to the middle of the crotch before I then pinned the out L bit all the way around so that I could have room for my booty. I ended up pinning where it fit me in both the lower back and also the crotch area, and I did this in the most elegant and most ladylike way that I possibly could. I don't know if you understood this based on what you just witnessed, but I basically needed to curve it rather than have it very boxy, because at the moment it was a very boxy silhouette and I needed it curved. So I marked where the top of my hip was and then where it met in the crotch, and then when I took it off I then just met these 2 points up in a curved fashion. I have sewed up the sides and we're gonna just tuck this in like that. But as you can see I've still got a little tail. But it's, so these bits I'm going to attach here and here later on, but I can kick and kick and stab myself in the thigh with a pin. Cool, I'm gonna sew up the rest of it. It's not actually fitted very well, so I can, it's good in the area that I need it to be, in the sense of it's fitting, it's not ripping when I'm doing leg things. You know, it'll be Chucky, so when I'm running around murdering people with knives. Turned inside out, and then I've pinned. I'm a bit concerned because it's flopping a little at the back. It's not sitting there, but then I think when I add straps, it will stay up. I'm going to sew it, and then I will update you once I've finished. So the top, I'm literally just going to cut along that bit. As you can see from the previous clip that you just saw, I put the dungarees onto myself and I marked off how high up I wanted them to be before I cut along that line. I then got some leftover fabric and I created 2 tubes and sleeves and then sewed them along the edge and then turned them right side out. I then put them into the back of my dungarees and sewed them in place. The front for where I want them to go, and I've just been checking it's level on the back and all of that. I looked up a picture to see whether or not his were sewn in at the front or whether or not they were attached with a button, because he does have buttons here. I looked it up and it's sewn in. So I'm not 100% sure whether or not he actually has buttons on the side of his trousers, but for artistic interpretation I decided to add this in, and I could only find 2 buttons that were the same size and not the same shade, so to make them the same shade of red I ended up getting a piece of the blue fabric scrap material, hot gluing it onto each button and then painting it red. I then got the dungarees and I cut a little hole into either side of where I wanted the button to be before burning it to stop it from ripping any further. I needed a little pocket to be like his little pocket. I wanted it to be an actually functioning pocket because then I could put my phone into it. So I measured a piece of fabric, again of the same material that I had scraps left over from. I measured it on the front, measured it how big I wanted it, made sure that my phone would definitely fit inside of it before I sewed the 2 double stitching over the top, and then I cut it out of the main piece of fabric. It's such good, that is straight, it's sturdy, I'm super happy with it. I started cutting it the wrong way around, so now it's too short. So I have to start again. So we're going to start again. You can't see my frustration, but it's there. Just trust me. The anger is there. After I realised my mistake, I cut out another pocket, again making sure that my phone could fit into it. Made sure that I actually cut it out properly this time before I did the same 2 rows of neat stitching on the top of a light coloured thread before I got the same red paint from earlier and I wrote down the words "Good Guys" on the front. I'm going to take this outside to dry because both the buttons and this are still tacky and I essentially can't do anything else with my outfit until this is dry. So we're going to go do that, okay. Once the buttons had dried, I brought them in and I got some red thread that closely matched the red of the buttons and I sewed them onto the dungarees where I wanted them to be. Once I'd done this, I then got up Markiplier and watched him play through Five Nights at Freddy's, I can't remember what it's called, the newest one as of me recording this. I got that up and then I did a folded hem on the pocket. I aligned it in the front of where I wanted it to be before I pinned it in place and then sewed it around all of the edges apart from the top so that I could still use it as a pocket. Once I made sure that absolutely everything was on, I made sure everything fit properly, I made sure everything was level, I cut off any excess material at the bottom, all of this, I then hemmed everything and made sure that everything was even when I hemmed it, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a tendency to accidentally make things slightly uneven when I hem them. But I think I did relatively alright, just ignore the next clip. So I'm looking at the mirror to see if it's good, and the hem is uneven and this side is higher than this side. Oh. Nope, if I do that, then that side. We're going to pretend that it's completely symmetrical, okay? I'm here to say that I have this shirt that I got on eBay, I think it was. It's just a white shirt with a pocket. I'm going to pick this pocket. No. As in, the stitches, not yoink. It's a plain white shirt, and I'm going to paint it the colours that Chucky has, because I cannot find a cheap version of his shirt. Although technically I did, but it didn't ever show up. So we're doing that because I think it's going to be the best and cheapest option. So let's do it, shall we? I need to get up. I got the seam ripper and I just unpicked the thread all the way around the edge of the pocket that was on the front of the shirt. I then got the shirt and I got different paints, and I started painting on the stripes that are the colours that he has. I went in the order of red, orange, light green, dark green, blue, purple, red, so on. The purple I didn't actually have any paint of, so I just made a concoction. I made my own purple by mixing the red and blue paint together and using that where I needed it. I think it turned out alright, and to clarify, these are not fabric paints, they are just general paints that I used to do this task with.